just mic'd up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, but he might have knocked it in.
Good time. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues. I think she was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, June 9th. LSU's back in Omaha, boys. It's a great Monday. It's been a long season. So there's been a lot of conversation about them being good enough, not being good enough, what's going on, why can't they hit, what's wrong with the bullpen, all of those things.
I don't know if he's the right man for the job.
Questioning Jay, which is wild. We can all look back and say, okay, they've reached obviously a really big goal, getting to Omaha. Now the biggest goal is winning a national championship. They have an opportunity to do that starting this weekend. They'll play Saturday, probably the night game against Arkansas. The two betting favorites to win the World Series are going to play against each other again. Obviously coming from the same conference in the their opening game in Omaha. The field is pretty much set. There's only one more spot. It's Duke, Murray State. They're playing tonight. First pitch is about to go off right now. And then they will complete the field of 8 in Omaha. Last night was electric in the box. Lloyd and I were both there. We got to experience it.
Two different perspectives.
What a way to, I guess the perfect way to culminate the season at home is a nice little rain delay. I'll explain this other situation that happened right in front of my face with this West Virginia fan. Not really at me. It was targeted at the LSU faithful around, and it didn't work out well for him. But a little rain delay to move the game back, get a little night game, a few more hours for the fans to booze it up a little bit. I'll tell you what, did not lose any fans.
No.
Full force, as packed as you can possibly be, and they stayed through the entire game, plus the post-game recognition. So we're going to talk about, obviously, that series, talking about previewing the Omaha We're also going to talk to Coach Jay Johnson, who's going to be on the show here in a few minutes. Talk about what he saw, obviously, on the field, what he liked. Obviously, look forward to Omaha and, kind of preview their journey and what's next for them. I believe they leave on Wednesday to go up there to Omaha, and then they'll play on Saturday. They'll get, obviously, practice time, field time, media time.
As we were blessed also with Jared Mitchell.
Well, I was going to get to him.
I know.
I was going to get to him.
Say.
We got Jay coming on. We also have Jay Mitch, on there feeling good. Look, bright lights got to him, Coach. Bright lights got to Jay with the sunglasses. He's
Mr. Hollywood.
Mr. Hollywood over there now. Looking good on TV, nice and
Listen, let me ask you a question. You can't call me Mr. Hollywood. Are those purple pants?
I think so.
It's like they're shorts.
They're shorts.
They're shorts.
Are those purple pants?
They're shorts.
The purple pants
They're
eater.
like athletic shorts.
Wow.
It's like workout shorts.
Pull out the purple pants when the boys go back to
That's it.
Omaha. I see what
Well,
you're
they're
doing.
not pants. If they're pants, I think that'd be a little bit more aggressive.
I can feel
They're
it
shorts.
deep down in my plums.
They're shorts. Nice. They're cuts. They're not. No, not cuts. They're what's the
They're tailored.
Nope. I forget. Legend. They're legends. Yeah.
Oh, legend.
Yeah. They're
Shout out Nick
legend.
Harris.
Shout out Nick Harris. They're legend shorts. Don't have a lot of clean clothes right now. I need to do laundry. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw on the shorts. It's a hot day. It was extremely hot this past weekend.
Oh, I sweated.
Yeah.
Did you see the guy behind Skip Burtman on game one?
No.
That had the two fans pointed directly into his craw. I was like,
Smart move.
legend.
Smart move.
Just let me-
Jay, how was Charlotte? You watched the game from the booth or from the studio?
I did. I got a bone to pick with Jay. He made me stay in studio all night. You just better.
Whoa.
Perfect timing. That's perfect timing.
timing.
Perfect timing. Coach Jay Johnson's joining the show right now. Listen, Coach,
He was on. That's why I said it. I wanted to see what he was going to say.
we're excited to have you on. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations. We're going to jump right into that conversation. Look, I know I think I've figured you out. I think I've figured out the system. We're going to get the rain delay so we can get a lot more alcohol flowing with the fans. The night games are big there. I understand. Look, that's a great play by you.
Nobody's bitched more about the time moving than Mikey.
Understand. It's great. It was great. Perfect way to culminate the season. Get them really, really, really lubed up for the game, and then they just, the energy was amazing. Talk about the atmosphere, obviously, last night, how crazy that was and how awesome it was to be able to sweep the series on the home field.
Pushers.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lloyd.
I snuck in the congrats in there somewhere, I think.
Much to everybody's surprise, I have nothing to do with the delay of the start time.
Mikey doesn't believe you.
No, that's not true. I know that.
That's fine. It's okay. It's the NCAA tournament, just so everybody knows. It's not the Jay Johnson Invitational. It's the NCAA tournament.
Not yet it isn't.
Yeah, well, hey, the crowd, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And again, I'll never forget these last 3 games in the box for 2025 for the rest of my life. And our fans were amazing. The energy in the stadium last night, particularly in that 6-run rally, I think in the 7th, was awesome. And just kind of kept setting a new bar. And hope they're all putting their notes in with their bosses, head to Omaha, and take that deal over now.
Oh, listen, I don't think you have to worry about that. I mean, you saw in 23. I know everybody. I mean, I've already talked to probably 100 people that are going to Omaha. They're already they figured out. They've already had stuff booked or they're booking it now. So Rocco's is going to be rocking. Those guys are excited with the Jello shot deal. And then obviously, Alex Box North is Omaha. So I don't think you have to worry about that. But I do want to ask you this because you've brought this up before on our show. And Jared and I have experienced this as players, and you've experienced it as a coach. But, Alex Box has this kind of mystique and has this type of way of rattling opponents. Doesn't matter how many big games they've played in, right? And I think, the first game, when their guy came out of the bullpen, it was 3-1, and his last bullpen pitch, he missed the entire net and threw into the stands. And the fans wore him out. And from that moment, he got on the field, and I said, this guy has no chance. And he threw 9 straight balls, basically walked the guy, had 0% chance. But Alex Box Stadium does that to people. And, I know you've seen it, but can you talk about how as a coach, when you see the stadium kind of get that, you kind of feel like, all right, one mistake or one slip up from them, this is our time to just pour gasoline on the fire?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the new bullpen set. I think that's the first thing. I think our fans, they've dominated 2 phases of this postseason. They've really helped when our team has just needed a lift and really gotten behind our team. And then when the momentum of that game starts tipping in our favor, they've really made it hard on the opponent. And that's what it's known for. And that certainly happened. And it really happened in the Super Regional in both games 1 and game 2.
As dumb as they're on the internet, they're very good in person.
Yeah. Coach, I left the hotel yesterday. I did some jogs, some light jogging around the parking lot. Got myself ready. Just know I was getting an on-time game, and then there's 3-hour delay. I wasn't ready for the delay, so I would like to know, like, this has happened a good bit, and I feel like each time it has happened for y'all, you've been able to keep the team ready to go, and there's never really been like a lull in play when they've come out of these long delays. What has been y'all like secret sauce of being able to kind of get that thing going to where when you get to these situations, if they do happen, we're not waiting for 5 innings or not wasting 5 innings before we actually start to turn it on?
Yeah, as I get communicated to by the administrative staff, in this case, the NCAA, like what we're looking at, I relay that to the players. This time, once it went from like 5, then it was going to be like 6, and then it was going to be 8:06, and then they moved it actually up to 7:56. So that was kind of an odd deal. It's really just we redid our hitters meeting actually at 6:40, which we had done way earlier in the day, like at 2:40, and just to get our guys sharp on the plan on the starter. And then we got down to the cages, and generally what we do is I start throwing batting practice at 100 miles an hour at like 40 feet, and like, hey, it's game on now. Coach Jordan throws great batting practice. We get the machines cranked up, like, right here, right now, like, let's go. And then got him with Chris Martin, our strength coach, got him reset, restretched, played catch, infield, outfield, go have the hitters meeting, and then they do the pregame circumstance or introductions that they do at the NCAA tournament games, and it's go time. And then, Derek Curiel set the tone right away. Double gap, and Ethan moves him over, and Jake Brown gets him in. So good start for the team. And then second inning was awesome, 2 outs, nobody on, and then we put up 5 after that. And 2 out, nobody on. That's something we take a lot of pride in, still find a way to score. And that was an awesome inning.
Coach, I'm glad you mentioned the hitting part of this thing. When we talked last week, and we kind of talked about what good all understand how taxing that was in game 1. When you guys made the decision, it was pretty obvious too. It was made the decision, if they're going to keep trying to bust us in, we'll stay on top of this plate, make sure you don't move, and make it hard for him to not have anywhere to miss. And that made it tough for him at that point. It kind of when you watch things like that happen, I almost felt like I was watching a boxing match or a UFC match, and it was nothing but body blows, and then all of a sudden 3 big swings, you get 11 runs out of it, right? Can you speak about how taxing that is for a pitcher, and for people to understand, all right, this was my game plan, and I'm executing it, and all of a sudden they basically took it away from me, meaning they got on top of the plate, they didn't allow me any error inside, and I had to start missing over the plate if I missed at all.
Yeah, I think our offense is flowing at its best when we're getting free bases with walks and hit by pitches, and we're hitting extra base hits. And that's really what happened in all those instances. In the, believe it was the 4th inning, Luis was down to 2 strikes, got hit with a pitch. Danny was down to 2 strikes, got hit with a pitch. And then he has to go back away because it's not working. And then Derek stays on the ball and drives it out the other way. And then I can't remember quite the sequence when Steven hit his grand slam, but I know at least a couple of those guys reached, via a free pass, and then he does a great job situational hitting, stays on the ball the other way, and it was a really offensive day that day. I mean, it was hot, the wind was blowing out to right field, And then, we got a couple free passes. Michael Braswell puts down what we call a zero drag, and then Chris Stanfield stays on a ball up through the middle of the field, and then Josh Pearson. So, when we're functioning at a high level, there's free bases and there's extra base hits, and that's just really controlling the zone and not swinging at balls and crushing mistakes.
I want to stay on the offense, Coach, because one of the key members of the team last year and one of the better offensive guys on the team last year, Stephen Milam, obviously, he's had a good year. I know he's probably, he said it in his interview, he said he didn't contribute as much as he wanted to offensively as consistently throughout the course of the year. But the last 2 weekends, it feels like he's found something and he's kind of gotten back into his groove. And it feels like when there's guys on base and he's up to bat, he's going to drive them in. He hit the grand slam, obviously, in Game 1, and then Game 2, had the big bases clearing double in the second inning with 2 outs. Talk about how he's kind of stayed with it. He's played unbelievable shortstop, obviously, and he's done a lot of really, really good things, but it feels like he's raised his game up a notch here the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he's a great player, as we all know. He's done a terrific job at shortstop. Like, he made an error the other day, and it was like, whoa, I don't even remember the last time he made an error on defense. That's how good he's been at shortstop. And then offensively, I think he just kind of got back to being himself and really did a good job controlling the zone. And unless he could drive it, he was not swinging, and he was really he's been limiting the at-bats that he's gotten himself out maybe at times during the year and really forced the ball on the plate and at his thigh. And he's got that great short, quick stroke that delivers a lot of line drives when it's the right pitch.
Yeah.
And so that's really helped take our offense to another level, and really proud of him for the at-bats he's taken here the last couple of weeks.
Coach, you're very stoic in the dugout for the most part. But when you show emotion, it usually comes after either a conversation or a guy that maybe you've been working really hard on the behind the scenes, and he comes through. Last night you had a conversation with Chris Stanfield. Big moment. It was 6-4, I believe. I want to say it was bases loaded, and you pulled him aside, had a conversation with him, kind of a funky righty, and he punches the ball through the right side, and you could see the emotion on your face, after that at bat. Can you walk us through that conversation, and what did you tell him, and how happy were you for him to come through there?
Yeah, very happy for Chris. I think he's had a tremendous season.
Yeah.
Like, maybe one of the more underappreciated players on our team, first and foremost. And we had bases loaded, no outs. We were up 6-0, and then the score was 6-4. West Virginia, tough team. They weren't going away, so to speak. And felt like that was a key at bat in the game. And I honestly was contemplating, wow, do we pinch hit right here? Because we do have a couple good left-handed hitting options on the bench. And you guys know those submarine sidearm righties, man, that ball can really bore in to the righties, and they're trying to get a double play there to minimize the damage, or they're going to go to the slider, and sometimes it's tough to see the spin on those guys. And so in my past, against those types of guys, I've always leaned heavily on left-handed hitters. And then I just kind of had a gut feel like Chris was really focused. He's really dialed in his at-bats. He's done a great job against right-handed pitching this year, and felt like if we just got him boxed up of the do not do this and give in to what he wants you to do and do this, like, he could be successful. So all of that kind of played into that. Mm-hmm. And then in reality, it's just like, man, we're 9 outs away from going to Omaha. But I'd feel a heck of a lot better if we could get a couple more runs on the board, because West Virginia's a good offense. So it was all kind of that. And that was a huge at-bat in the game last night.
Coach, I want to expand on Chris Stanfield again a little bit more. To do what he's unselfishly been able to do, and to do it at the success rate that he's doing it at the bottom half of the lineup, can you just talk about how special that is? Because that is so hard to find a player that's that productive at the bottom half of the lineup, and then can kind of remove the selfish side of it and just continue to do it because it's what's best and what fits the team best.
Yeah, I think we have a team full of those guys that have been willing to embrace their role, and Chris is at the front of that. He's a great baseball player. He's a terrific athlete. he's also a+ human being. And I feel like that's what this team is made up of. And I appreciate you bringing that up. And you guys are ball players. Everybody has pride in what they do and confidence in what they do. And, he was a leadoff hitter at, an SEC school for the last 2 years. And I'm saying, hey, I think this is what's best for our team. And he just continues to deliver. And one of the reasons I do it that way is like, I want to feel like we can score 2 in every inning. That way you kind of have a chance to keep the momentum of the game in our dugout. And he's really delivered in that spot. And I don't even really look at it as like a 9-hole thing. It's like he comes up, he's on base all the time, and now Derek's coming up with a hole to hit through, and he's hitting the ball hard on a line, and then you're getting into Fry and Milam and all that. I just like the way that it moves. And
that's kind of a point too, though, because like it's obvious you value what he does down there, and it's not just let me just round out my lineup. He brings so much value, but it's so hard, especially like you said. He was hitting leadoff at an SEC team next year. There's easily in his mental mind frame, that's where he could be seeing himself and only wanting to get back to, instead of just saying, no, this is what's best for this team. And that's why I love what he's been able to do for the team.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. There was one game, I want to say it was Alabama. Like, we came back and won, and we had some like weird double switch thing where I love left-handed hitters. Like, that's no surprise. Right. But like we had to like maneuver it, and I actually like just took him out of the game just because he was like the last guy to come up, and I think he was like, what did I do? And I was like, literally nothing. He's like, and I explained it to him. He's like, whoa, coach, that's pretty good. I never even thought of that before. And it was literally just because his spot might not even come up again in the order, and we have good outfielders, and we could kind of make it work. But he's just been so bought in, whether it's been the bunting game, walking, moving the ball forward with runners on base. He's been excellent with 2 strikes here in the back half of the season. And, man, that was a huge at-bat. Like, he's had a bunch of big at-bats this year. Huge game in the regionals last week. I believe it was against DBU. That was a huge at-bat last night.
You talk about guys that have been underappreciated, Coach, and I have to give Papi, Luis, his flowers, because what a warrior back there, man. You see him get hit time after time, bounces back, he closes. Trainer comes out, he says, don't want it, and then he continues to go back behind the plate. So I wanted to give you a second to give him just a warrior to be able to get you to Omaha, because he's been counted on time and time again.
I'd love to talk about Luis Hernandez every day of my life. And, like, Luis probably Floyd. One of the most important pieces of why we're going to Omaha. Yeah. I mean, he's had so many clutch hits and homers, those types of things, but his ability to be an awesome everyday catcher really changed our team. And it's more than just the catching, receiving, blocking, throwing, which, I mean, he was phenomenal blocking last night. That was a clinic early in the game. Just that he's a servant to the pitcher, which I think great catchers are. We just needed the human being. Yeah. Like this team with, 3 really diverse buckets of players where they were coming from, good collection of talent that wasn't a team. Like, I needed a character guy behind the plate. Mm-hmm. And he's delivered, man. I wish I could coach that guy every year of my career.
Yeah, he's been, and look, he didn't catch last year, right? So, like, doing what he's doing right now and not having a year before, like, it's unbelievably impressive to see. It feels like he's been catching for, every game for the last 6 years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I feel like if you work hard and you do things right over a long period of time, sometimes some good fortune, as Coach Bertman calls it, comes your way in baseball. And we got a ton of good fortune with Luis Hernandez as our catcher this year.
Coach, when you go through a run like this and you start and you want to win the World Series, guys have to step up that maybe hadn't had these huge roles throughout the course of the year, right? You saw Ackenhausen did it 2 years ago. You needed a start for him. You got it. And you see that time and time again. The last 2 weeks when you needed somebody to put out a fire, a freshman stepped up that had been really good over the last maybe 2 months of the season but didn't have a ton of innings. But you threw him in against Little Rock, and Cooper Williams was lights out. You threw him in again last night, and he was lights out. Freshman, obviously at this point in the season, he's not a freshman. But the last 2 times you've thrown him at have to have it moments. He's shown up for you in a big way. Talk about his development and how important he's been for you in this postseason stretch run.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
And it's like the makeup, the character, you want to bet on that, and you want to bet on athletic left-handed pitching any day of the week. And he's got both those things going for him. He's strong-minded, is intelligent, and has really taken to the coaching. He has a really good rapport with Coach Yeski, and has really developed into a guy that we obviously really trust, and going to continue to trust in this run in the College World Series, and huge piece of the program moving forward. And it's crazy to think, like, you know, a big chunk of that game last night was Anthony Hyanson and Cooper Williams, and we didn't have either of those guys till like July 29th, you know, before the school year started. So, like I said, you work hard, and sometimes that good fortune rolls your way.
Coach, how many more Coops you got lined up? We had Coop in 2023. Now we got another Coop. If you got another one in the holster, let me know.
Left-handed Coops, we love them.
Coach, you're 1A and 1B, if you will. That's how they've basically thrown the ball this year. 2 separate weekends, right? Regional, super regional. I mean, regional weekend, it was just absolutely lights out from both of them. Super regional weekend felt like an old school start where they just literally, by the time you went out and grabbed the ball from them and they had to hand the ball over, all they did was make sure that you were in a position to still win the ball game, right? Whether it be a couple runs up or whatever it was. I don't even remember what the score was. But how refreshing is it knowing that you have 2 guys that are going to go out there and battle like that, to where when they leave the game, barring something crazy, we're in the game. And I think everyone knows that in that dugout as well.
No question about it. And the years that you have it, it makes coaching a lot simpler, and I can spend my time helping develop players more, or be in tune with like a hitting plan or positioning the defense, because the guy on the mound is in such control of the game. And we have 2 guys doing that. And there were times like in 23 that Skeens and Floyd would eat up a weekend like that. Or last year, Holman and Jump. And this year, obviously, with Cade and Anthony, have done it better than anybody.
Yeah.
And then what it does is it allows you to take like Chase Shores and plug him exactly where he should be, and he could look electric. Like,
Electric.
Oh my God.
Coach, that's the best I've ever seen him pitch in my life.
it was phenomenal. And like, I mean, I don't know why he couldn't like be in the big leagues soon like that. You know?
No, you can come back. Going back.
No,
I'm all for that too, baby. Let's get a mic up, something going to get Chase Shores back to next year. And I'm really proud of him, and I'm glad the world is getting to see what he's fully capable of. It's something I've always believed in, and you know, it was really cool. I thought he got to close that out, super regional at home, and with the electricity that he did it, like I can't think of a better way to send us to Omaha.
Coach, last question about this team before we really talk about
next year.
No, a couple questions about, I said this team, this weekend, before we move into the Omaha conversation. I want to give you a minute because he's been a big and integral part of this team for the last 4 years. You gave him a moment that he deserved. I wish you'd hit the homer. Obviously, doesn't always work out that way, but he got the standing ovation from the crowd. Josh Pearson's been the epitome of what an LSU baseball player is about. You know, team over, like we over me. He's the epitome of that. He's come up with some really big hits, really big moments in his entire career. He's going to continue to do that through the course of Omaha. You gave him his moment last night to come in there and get that standing ovation. Talk a little bit about him and how awesome he's been to coach for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to do that. It's the only player that's been here all 4 years with me. He's exactly the type of player that I want in the LSU program. Really good hitter, really good player, good defensive outfielder, smart on the bases, tough as nails mentally, selfless, has not only accepted but embraced whatever role I've given him, and then always been ready. And I texted him on Friday night, like, hey, man, you're in there tomorrow. And he was super fired up and obviously delivered with the grand slam and another hit and 3 quality at-bats. And then I thought that was really cool last night.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at the feel that our fans
Yep.
have for stuff like that.
Yep.
Like last at bat here and,
Yep.
showing appreciation for those guys. And it was a little tricky. Like we were about to go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. And then it's like, okay, I got to figure out how we're going to do this because we're doing this,
Yeah.
no matter what. And then he was standing on the top step, and I mean they've given him a standing ovation like his last 7 at bats.
And he'll get another one.
That's right. Well, and it was funny. Like last night, we were standing on the top step, and I'm like, "Hey, man!" Like I could see he was juiced up pretty good, and I was like, "Hey, man, this is like cool and everything, but we got Zach Root next Saturday night in Omaha. And I think he's ready to go."
Yeah.
And man, he swung for the moon
He
on
did.
the first pitch. Like,
He did.
I love Josh. I can't say enough good things about him. And this has been a pretty cool 4-year run, for us here. And he's been right in the center of it in some of the biggest times, including game 1 of this super regional.
Well, Coach, he kind of had, it wasn't a walk-off, but he kind of had like a Kirk Gibson type deal. He like tweaked his groin, then hit the homer and limped around the bases with the grand slam. I was like, this is just adding to the legend of Josh Pearson.
Yeah, so he had some really bad cramp deal, and I was so pumped the ball went over the fence. Then I started thinking about, okay, is there a defensive switch? How does this affect the pitching? How much further is Cade gonna go? And then he runs around the bases, and then like the trainer comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, yeah, I get JP out of the game, man." He's I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He almost hit a ball right there, and like no, he's not doing well. And then so. Yeah, we were able to get an IV in him, and we sent Jake Brown out there for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then once we got an IV and some fluids in him, he was okay. But I'll tell you what, man, that was a ass kicker of a day.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, Coach.
Yes, it was.
I mean, I'm just giving signs and talking to players and making moves, and I got home on Saturday night, and I was like, holy cow, I feel like I just got done with like a 15-round boxing match. So how the heck does Luis Hernandez feel right now?
No doubt. No doubt.
Hey, that was something else, man. It was probably an advantage for us in the game.
Probably.
We immediately sent the whole team over to the football new $25 million recovery facility. And I was like, hey, if you guys skip out on this, like, you're not playing tomorrow. That deal. And it's amazing to be like 19 and 20 and then have that type of, whatever for recovery. These dudes rolled in here tomorrow or yesterday. Like, it was opening day. It was great to see.
Coach, I'm so glad you're bringing this up and you just mentioned his name again because it just popped in my head. And I'm thinking, like, it's hot as hell. He hadn't caught much at all last year, so he's got a year kind of coming in to catch him more, and then he gets to second, and then when he steals third, just can you talk about the entire dugout and what that does to the dugout, watching a dude like that just kind of play heady baseball,
unbelievable play
when you give it to him, and just what does that do? Like what did that? When you look around the dugout, like what's the vibe in the dugout
after he got kneecapped?
Well, the more impressive.
Which was so loud too, by the way.
Yeah, he had like a third knee because of that. And then he got hit on the foot the very next at bat. I hate to laugh.
Yeah.
But then the dude's taking off like he's Ricky Henderson.
Yeah. They walk him and he gets to second and takes off third. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, well then he kind of gave it back last night because he got picked off third base and
I forgot about that one too.
Yeah, like him or Josh Jordan was really in trouble on that one.
Oh man, you know what? I guess you give him one. You give him one mulligan. He's done a lot of good things.
He's about to steal home.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking about. He's trying to just channel his inner Ricky Henderson. Coach, y'all obviously are leaving for Omaha. I think you said y'all leaving on Wednesday. What's next for y'all? What's the schedule like over the next few days?
Yeah, we had a meeting at 4:00 today just to outline the week so they know what to expect, to take some of the mental drain off of it. Tomorrow, we'll get them back in the weight room, and then we'll hit inside and we'll lift, and then get them all back over to the recovery deal. We have some pitchers that need to throw, just kind of how it worked out. Not everybody pitched this weekend, and so they'll throw bullpens tomorrow. And then Wednesday morning we'll bus out of here. I think they're doing like a send-off deal on Wednesday morning. We're leaving here at 9:30, but we'll have a quick meeting at 9:15. Get on the plane flight to make the best flight of the year.
That's it.
And pretty excited about that. And then get them over so they can see the ballpark right when we first get there. And then we'll have a light workout at Creighton on Wednesday, just to kind of get off the plane, get the excitement of being in Omaha, and then kind of get refocused on task and back to work. And then we'll go to Fleming's on Wednesday night. That's kind of our deal. You keep winning in the postseason, we keep eating steaks at least once a week.
We're going to Fleming's.
Well, I have to go to some administrative meeting, so I don't even get to go.
That's not good. That's not fun.
Jared Jones likes eating steaks, so we're going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And then
he'll eat yours too.
I think you can eat your portion.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
It's going to get gout.
And then we're going to we'll have a meeting at night, and then Thursday is kind of the official practice day at the stadium. And then I think they have the opening ceremonies deal that night. And then Friday we'll work out over at Nebraska Omaha and get ready to go for Arkansas on Saturday night.
Well, Coach, I think I speak for the whole show when we say best of luck. Before I let you go, you talked about the pitching staff this year. You talked about them last year. You're talking about the year before. I don't think people realize the talent that they've seen over the last 3-4 years come through the mound here. And just came across our feed. One of the most talented guys you had that didn't really get the opportunity to throw as much as he probably should have because of injury. Grant Taylor just got called up to the big leagues. I'm sure you already know that. How cool is that to see these guys that you've gotten to help grow as baseball players and as men reach their dream, especially after coming off of an injury-filled season that he had here at LSU 2 years ago.
Yeah, no doubt. I actually just talked to him. He just called me, and it was weird. Like, it didn't really cross my mind that that's why he was calling me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, sweet, GT's calling me. I hope he's doing great. And I picked up the phone. He's like, hey, I'm going to the big leagues. I was like, let's go. And what a talent. And I feel like we got robbed of that a little bit. And obviously that was, one of the greatest teams of all time. If he was healthy, we might have lost like 7 games all year that year. But proud of him, and super talent, but makeup A+ off the charts, phenomenal human being. Was never like poor me. I lost my big season to Tommy John. He just was unbelievable in the dugout and helping guys along, and really, he was good that first year, his freshman year. He had some really good appearances in SEC play, and that really helped us set a foundation of going forward. With new staff, new deal, and I'm proud of him, and it's pretty awesome. There's several more coming, from that team, to the big leagues. Hopefully Trey gets up here next with the Rays, and hopefully that'll be this year. I think, from last year's team, Gage Jump is moving fast, and Ty Floyd, I'm sure, will be there pretty soon. So a lot of Tommy, hopefully Gus and Joe Bear will, just keep winning. Jacob Berry's on the cusp, so. Yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to kind of be that version of Alabama football where we're winning and playing at this time of year, but we're helping guys become big leaguers, and we're certainly doing that right now.
Yeah, 101 bowling ball fastballs. That plays every day. I don't care if you're where you're at, but that plays. And I'm looking forward to watching him in the big leagues. Obviously, Paul Skeen's doing his thing. I hope it's nice to see the new crop of LSU guys kind of make their name and not just get to the big leagues, but become stars in the big leagues. And credit to you on developing them, credit to you on getting them there, and credit to those guys for being the guys that they are and reaching their dreams. So, Coach, we appreciate you, as always, coming on our show. We're going to be watching you. Lloyd will be in Omaha. He's taking the RV. They're letting him drive. Can you believe that?
Got my CDC license, Coach.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but
Me either.
We need a chaperone on that trip, probably.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I don't think.
You won't find me on that bus. That's for
yeah, I will not be on that bus. I hope that we're all up there at some point together, but we'll be watching. And best of luck, safe travels, and then hopefully we'll get you on next week in between. While y'all are waiting to play the championship series.
That sounds amazing.
That's it.
Hey, Coach, real quick before you go. Obviously, I got to see the end of the ceremony, all of that. You took a moment to kind of take it all in, but also you have the skipper with you. How important is it to get him to be able to see there? He sits through talk about a delay. He's the one that rides it out with you, Coach. He's up there, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., doesn't matter. But how cool is it to be able to share some of those moments and for you to actually take a second to kind of, all right, by culmination of this year's work, it's a bookend, at least for one thing.
Yeah, that was amazing. The best part of this job for me is the relationship that I have with him. Like, that's like a, hero coaching idol, when I'm starting coaching. And now that I'm talking to him pretty much on a daily basis and hanging out and hugging him, after we're, winning this regional on his field, to go to Omaha, it's just like, I just super blessed, and that's amazing. And he takes a lot of pride in it. And it was pretty funny. Like, actually the night before on Saturday night, he called me at home and he goes, "Hey, I'm not going to come down on the field after you win to congratulate you." And I'm like sweating it out, like, man, well, we need one more. And I'm thinking about how we're going to win. It's like, and he's making it sound so easy, like, "Hey, you're going to win tomorrow." But,
that's what we do.
It was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Very, very awesome moment, and I might give him a call here on my way home, actually, too.
Yeah, he's the best. You're the best. We appreciate you, Coach. And like I said, best of luck, safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good
Coach.
night.
Yep, you too.
Good luck.
Tell Skip I said hello.
I'm glad he got off. He needed to get off there. What a guy. Happy. A little voice. You can tell he's a little tired in the voice.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired. It was a long night. It was a long night. I can't imagine how he feels.
I mean, look at Jay Mitch.
Look, sunglasses on. Can't even. Him and Ocho Cinco. Him and Chad Johnson.
I'm a little tired, Coach, so
Hey, you're going on you went all-nighter. You had to go studio, stayed up all night, took the early flight out. Sometimes you take the early
know that's really what my night was last night. I don't know. I didn't leave the studio until about 1:45, 1:50 in the morning. At that point, I decided, man, makes no sense for me to stay here another night. There's no game threes. Let me just pop a flight. Let me try to get on the first flight out of here. So first flight out was at 7 o'clock. I probably needed to leave around 5:30. It's now 2:30. What am I going to sleep for? So I stayed up all night just to get back. So boys had me up all night, man. So it took me a while to kind of bounce back a little bit today.
It's all right. Listen, listen. At least you didn't sleep through the show.
That's right. Some people can.
No, you can't, but some people do.
Yep. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. Look, you nice little go to sleep early tonight. Wake up refreshed tomorrow. But Jay is the best. And Jay's been great to us. And you could see it on his face. Like, sometimes he comes on this show and it's very, you have to
We're on the docket.
Work
Next
it in
thing.
there to try to get the but I mean, after you win a super the way they won it. Listen, and Jared, you've talked about this. West Virginia was a really good baseball team. I mean, they were a good offensive team. They were scrappy. They had 3 or 4 good arms. And LSU just
Glasscock.
Glasscock struggled. that was a struggle. But they had some guys out there that look, the guy last night put up a bunch of zeros, kept the game close, allowed them to make a run. They put together some really good at-bats, and so that wasn't like it was just we don't play a national seed, so it was an easy cakewalk. That wasn't the case. Those guys kept coming, and LSU kept doing everything they needed to do. I knew where y'all were going with that. LSU did what they needed to do to win the game, and
persevered.
Put the game away.
Oh.
That was a stretch right there. That was a stretch by you. But it's a credit to those guys, and it wasn't easy. The score made it look like it was easy, but it wasn't easy.
I think the weather probably played and weighed on them very heavily, right? And playing in the box as well. But bro, they came into this series 24-5, I believe, on the road this year. That's a better winning percentage than a lot of people have at home. And when I say a lot, like the vast majority of the country at home, they did that on the road. And this is an older squad who, for all intents and purposes, they went further in the tournament last year than LSU did, right? And so I really felt like coming into Baton Rouge in this situation, it was going to be a really tough weekend. And I don't think you could say enough about the game plan and the execution of the game plan offensively that LSU had. I'm a firm believer that at this time of year, like, it'd be great to have Paul Skeens and you go out there and you give up 2 runs and if that on 12 strikeouts. And I'm not saying that like these other guys can't. That's not what I'm saying. What I do mean though is I truly believe at this time of year, and this goes kind of all the way up to pro ball as well. You really do need your offensive stars and those guys to show up and actually give you run support. So 2 games at home, LSU scored 28 runs, 18 hits, had another 17 walks. Like that's a super efficient 2-game stretch at home to close out the home schedule and to get themselves to Omaha. And when you do that, it makes it so much easier on the pitching staff. It makes it so much, because like you got to think, man, I think these are huge situations. It's very hard for you to bring your heart rate down and play and not do too much. So I would rather spread that out over the lineup than actually try to put all of that on one guy on the mound or on the couple guys that come in to throw on the mound. So the easier you make it as a lineup for your starter and everybody that comes out of the pen to kind of go out there and do their job, like I think it's a better situation, and that LSU got exactly that this weekend. The lineup showed up, and it was awesome to see that.
If I'd have told you before the series started, hey, LSU's going to sweep, but they're not going to throw their 2 best bullpen arms that they've had all year, you'd be like, how the hell has that happened? And that's what happened.
Right.
They didn't throw Kason Evans or Zach Cowan at all in either of the game. Obviously, the first game they got to this huge lead. West Virginia kind of tried to narrow the gap, so that helped that. But then game 2, obviously, it got to 6-4, and we're talking in our group text. Hey, when do we think they're going to throw Evans? And we both said if it's a 2-run lead with about 6 outs, maybe if they increase the lead to like 3 or 4, I could see him kind of trying to get 9 outs, and then they had that 6th spot, and I think Jay did the right thing and letting Chase Shores close it out. Potentially his last time on the mound at Alex Box, and that was pretty electric.
I also think this too, because you mentioned that where it was like you won this weekend without throwing your 2 best bullpen arms. But then if I told you we did that, you'd probably be like, well, Cade and Anthony probably went 7 2/3 again, right? Like they had to have. And they didn't even do that. And that shows you like what kind of team performance this was.
Exactly.
Like I really do feel like what I saw from Cade and Anthony made me feel like I was watching like I don't know. It's probably like the first one I think about, like when I think about stuff like this. But think of maybe like CC Sabathia once he went to the Yankees, where all he cared about was giving the ball away with more runs than the other. So if that means today we put up 10, as long as when I'm done, if they got 6, 7, maybe 8, and we're still in the lead, I'm cool. That's how I'm gonna pitch. I'm gonna give you efficient outing. I'm gonna keep you in the ball game. And they didn't throw their best this weekend. And they still left with leads, and they still left doing good enough to make you feel good about everything that was still going to go forward. To me, like that's the mark of an ace. Like you ain't always going to go out there and go 7 shutty with no walks and 12 punches. But when you're not doing that, like what are you doing for the team? And those 2 guys both, they showed you what they could still do for the team when you're not quote unquote getting their best stuff and their best time.
Well, I think what's crazy on the Cade Anderson deal is like he was throwing really well. And then LSU scored all those runs. And, Jay just talked about how miserably hot it was. He's sitting in that dugout, which no airflow. And he's sitting down. And obviously, he's going back and forth trying to stay loose. But he was probably sitting down in the dugout for almost an hour before he went back out there. Obviously, it's going to be hard to get ramped back up, even though it is hot. And so I think he gave up 6 earned runs. I'm trying to pull up the box score. But I think he gave up 6 earned, but it went 7 innings, right? Which is ace stuff. Like, hey, listen, I may give up a few runs here and there. It was super windy and it was an offensive day, but I'm gonna give you 7 innings, and he only threw just over 100 pitches, right? So, even giving up the runs, he was efficient enough to be able to give you 7 innings in a game where you're pretty much it's in hand, and you don't have to go out and burn a bunch of guys to go and finish out the last 4 innings.
Yep, I think that's a great point too, because it is hard for people to understand, and I get that. So, like, to me, it's not just about what he does. Like, I think that weighs heavily on how he pitches. Like if I ask you to go out there and you give me a shutdown inning, and then because we are either so good or they are struggling to throw strikes, whatever it is, if you're sitting down on the bench for 35 minutes, they're still only giving you the same amount of time to get ready next inning. So that kind of goes into how the numbers get where they go, and because there's not much game flow for that kind of, for the pitcher, for your pitcher at that point. So like I understand that, and I think a lot of people don't need to understand that as well. But in the sense of how the game went, in the sense of the stat line at the end of the game, like it says, oh, this wasn't his best start, but still yet he left with the lead. I think that's ace shit. That's ace material right there.
And look, if you go look at it, right, he gave up, LSU scored 7 runs in the 5th. He gave up 4th in the 6th. That was a long break, right?
Yeah.
And then the 7th, he gave up the homer that was, whatever, right? He gave up the 2-run homer. The game was already out of hand. But he was cruising. I mean, he was through 5 innings, and the score was 10-1. I mean, he was rolling. Big break. Obviously, that's tough to come back from. But I wouldn't say he pitched bad. It wasn't his best start. I know you're not saying he's pitched bad, but for all the other people out there that say maybe he struggled, I wouldn't even consider them saying it was a struggle. I just think that it was a very weird flow of the game once it got to that 5th inning, and it is what it is. And then LSU scored 6 after that, and then so another long break, and then gave the 2-run homer in the 7th. So, it is what it is. But I thought he did well. 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, got the dub. That's ace stuff. And then Ianson, kind of the same thing. Grinded through the 5th, only gave up 4, and did what he needed to do to give LSU a chance to win. And then Cooper Williams comes in there and was just nails and was able to extend the game and give LSU an opportunity to extend the lead.
And I'll also say this too. I think this was, and I don't know if this went into Jay's decision on why he threw him in that situation, and I'm not saying that he like was doing bad and needed, but I do think like if you believe in someone, which is very obvious that Jay believes in Chase Shores, and it's very obvious to see why you should believe in Chase Shores when you see him get on the mound, right? It's really cool to see. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him the ball, and I don't know, but like when I see it from my side, it was like, I want you to keep building this momentum. I want you to keep going forward. I want you to understand that you belong in all of these moments. You belong every bit a part of that, because if we're gonna win a natty, there's a 100% chance that we're gonna need you.
Correct.
So I want you to gain and build all that momentum, all that confidence, and keep going forward. And what he did, like watching him last night when he came in, was like, damn.
Yeah. That was the best he's looked. I mean, he came in from the first pitch. Here it is. Go and hit it. It was the most. Obviously he's thrown it a bunch of times this year, but that was the most confident he's looked in throwing whatever pitch he wanted to throw, in whatever count. And he said, "Hey, here's my fastball. I don't think you can hit it." They didn't hit it. Yeah, if you can hit it, you can name it, and they definitely didn't hit it. The only ball I think that was put in play was he took something off of it and threw it 97 miles an hour. He hit a line drive left for an out. And then everything else was just, hey, here's 100. Good luck.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a great series. Great. It was fun to be a part of.
What about that? What about that series impressed you, Lloyd? Like, what stood out to you on the weekend in terms of either how they played or the atmosphere or any of it? What was like the thing for you?
I thought it was the ability, kind of what y'all touched on already, was when you go and look at the box score and see what happened, it's like, all right, you have Cade and Anthony, and you see what happened. You're like, certainly it's not going to go this way. Like, you'd expect them to go 7. You'd expect, but for the offense and the ability to punch back, because West Virginia was, like, kind of stuck around the entire, for both games. They always felt like they were at arm's length away, and LSU was able to keep them. It's the call and response, right? Like, you put up a number, they didn't put a number, you put up another number. And it's just like, LSU's not going away. And that was West Virginia's calling card throughout the entire year. Was they had some absurd 14-6 in games that they had come back after the 8th, and you could see that's how they played. And LSU was able to keep no, you put up 4, we'll put up 6, and that's what I thought was the most impressive part, was the offense to show up at that time and be able to do that in that moment is huge, because it's been going into the series, you would not say pitcher's duel, and then you see scored 18 runs. You scored 28 runs in 2 games. Mm-hmm. That was the most impressive part. They're the most complete team in the country. If they play like that, they're the best team in the country.
Well, and look, even their outs were hard. And
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing is like you looked at what they were doing last night, and it was only 6-4. They scored early and they stopped, but like those innings that they did score, it wasn't like they were having bad at bats.
No, they were everywhere.
I mean, they were hitting balls everywhere as hard as they can hit them. They just weren't finding holes. I mean, Fry hit that ground ball to third base at 110. It basically caught the third baseman. You had 2 or 3 lineouts to the shortstop and second baseman. Like they were having good at bat after good at bat after good at bat, and that was really good to see because it's been a while since we've seen that happen that consistently.
And you did it against a team that you saw make 9 errors in a regional where you're like, put it in play and see what happens. They did exactly that. Like whatever the game plan was, it feels like that was a part of
The
it.
second baseman struggled with fly balls, huh?
Oh, buddy, wind.
Yeah, that was tough.
Loud.
Tough time. Yeah.
The sun.
No sun.
No sun.
Dark.
The moon.
Moon got him.
Moonball.
No, but that to me that was the most impressive thing. Is there anything else that stood out to you, Jay, or is it we've kind of hit on all of that?
No, I think we hit on all of it, man. If that's if that's the team that's going to get on that plane and go to Omaha, they very well have one of the best chances to walk out of there holding the trophy, like straight up.
No doubt.
Like that was, and that's why I touched on it before. They absolutely just body shot and just wore down that staff, but just having such great at bat after great at bat after great at bat and making them earn everything and sticking to a plan and staying disciplined and doing all those things. And then Ducks got out on the pound and, a couple big swings and you're putting up runs on the board.
You got out hit on Saturday.
If they could do that, if they go to Omaha and play that exact same way, I'm telling you,
well, look,
tough.
They're gonna have obviously they're playing Arkansas Saturday night. Like that's gonna be an unbelievable game, must watch TV. Obviously, Zach Root versus Cade Anderson gonna be on the mound. It's gonna be, 2 guys who potentially are top 5 picks. It's a shame they have to play the first game, but here's the deal. Last time LSU had to play Arkansas in Omaha, we won it. It was 2009. Had to play Arkansas twice.
Last time I had to play Arkansas and Omaha, we whooped that ass.
So,
Couple times.
Pick C.
They're going to have that. It's going to be a big game. Obviously, 2 familiar teams. But if they get through that, I don't really know who else is on their side of the bracket. Let's talk Omaha, actually, for a little bit. Duke. Murray State. Murray State's up 2-1. Murray State came out hot. I think the guy hit a homer to start the game or something. They scored 2 runs in the first. Duke scored 1 after that. And now they've kind of settled in. This will be the last team to reach Omaha. Who do we like? Not necessarily to win it. We don't have to make projections or predictions, but who do we like? Teams just from right now, the teams that are in there, who do we like to make it interesting?
Coastal.
I do like Coastal.
They can throw it.
Yeah. I do like
Didn't
Coastal.
know that.
My top three are literally Arkansas, LSU, and Coastal. Like I don't know, man. Like you watch Coastal on the other side and seeing how deep and how good that pitching staff was real. Like I do think Coastal, in terms of how their regional setup and who they matched up with the Super Regional, if you were gonna pick for them the best matchup, if you will, I think Auburn was the best matchup for them, right? But with that being said, after seeing those guys throw still, man, they real. Like they got a good pitching staff, like a very good pitching staff. And them dudes in the lineup, they play with swag, bro. Like they just know, hey, we got some dudes, we got some horses on the mound. We ain't gotta do much. Just give us a little bit. Just give us a little window, we'll go. Teams like that are scary. So like I just think that's a team. When the last time they got here too, they won the shit. So you know,
Duke just hit a homer to tie the game, 2-2, bottom 3. Another team, and I don't really know as much about them as some of the others as far as talent goes. But going over to UNC and getting smacked in the first game and then winning the next 2 games to get to Omaha, it says a lot about you as a team. Arizona's playing some good baseball. Was it Arizona? Yeah, Arizona. Arizona's playing really good baseball. They obviously beat North Carolina, who was a favorite to get to Omaha.
Got 18-2?
They got smacked in the first game. Like, oh, this is going to be easy, cakewalk. And I think they were down in the second game and had to come all the way back, won the game, and then they go ahead and they won game 3. Sometimes when you have a team like that gets super hot, anything can happen. So that's another team to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I also think, too, that team's in such a better situation now that Jay's gone.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. They got smacked in game 1, and coming back to play the way they did in game 2 and game 3 and winning that at Chapel Hill, like, that's a tough environment to play in. They played well there. That was impressive. That was an impressive super regional victory. Because I thought for sure 18-2, hey, y'all cooked, bro. Y'all ain't no way y'all winning 2 straight in this thing, and they did.
Hey, did you lock into the Tennessee to Arkansas series?
I did.
I mean, the first game was electric, and
I did.
Tony V came out trying to get Zach Root thrown out the game. After everything that they did, all the antics they had, he tried to get Zach Root thrown out the game after he just blew 98 by his best hitter. I don't really love that.
Did.
Hey, if you're gonna dish it out and someone shoves it up your ass, you better get ready for him to dish it back to you, because I think 98 was the hardest fastball he threw all day, and it was right after that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that.
Well, it was
it was a testy series. That was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
And it was a situation that the Tennessee. I was on Tennessee Twitter. I was watching this because they bothered it really is a testament to LSU. Like, you can win a multitude of ways, but to do it the way that you could still have fun and be like a little bit of class always goes a long way, and LSU does it the right way. It feels like, but apparently one of Tennessee, their catcher got thrown out for something, arguing balls and strikes, and that's why he's like, if you're going to throw one of my guys out for just asking a question, you're going to let, what's the name?
Zach
Root do all this and bust his pearl snaps open and cuss at people. And I was like, Tennessee, I mean, you bring the worst out in people.
And then Liam Doyle, you tried to save him for the game 2, and that did not work out well.
75 pitches.
I don't think they tried to save him. I think they did what they had to do, man.
Yeah, because he threw the last game.
He wasn't in a position to be thrown on Friday, but you really needed to win. Because you were gonna lean on a lot of what he was gonna be able to do in that game 2 situation, and to not win in game 1, it just made it tough in that situation for him.
Tell you what, Ben McDonald pissed a lot of people off, and I don't think he's wrong. But they were asking him on the air last night, hey, Liam Doyle and Cade Anderson are like 1 and 2 as far as like top college pitchers. He goes, who would you
draft?
Yeah, who would you pick? And he's like, I'd give the nod to Cade Anderson. He's got really good control. He's got 4 pitches he can throw for strikes, any count. He said, honestly, he goes, I think Liam Doyle is a closer. He goes, I don't think he's going to be able to start. He throws too many balls. He's too volatile of up and down, in and out of the zone. And he's really only got 2 pitches. And Tennessee fans did not like that.
Well, sorry.
Did not like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, we actually broke that down yesterday. He threw. He never got out the 4th. So let's just say he threw into the 4th inning. Those first 2 innings, there was only 2 batters that he faced that he fell behind at in any time of the count, right? And then I think in those situations he had like a fly out and like he hit the other batter. So right. And then in the 3rd and 4th inning, he fell behind I think 5 batters, and I think they went. I think he walked 1, and then they went 3 for 4. So they hit 750 off of him when he fell behind way more often, as opposed to the opposite before. So just like, it's the same thing. Is like, he's good, man, but like, he's one of them dudes where if he's going to fall behind you, which he's going to do at a higher rate than someone like Cade Anderson will, then that becomes a problem. Because look, like I know, man, when you got dudes when their shit's that good, if they're on,
yeah, right.
Fucked.
Right.
Like it's a bad spot anyway. So when you got dudes that are that good, not to say that you don't do this against dudes that are not like great, but it's a higher focus of doing it when dudes are this good, because I'm only gonna have like a short window of being able to hit something. Dudes that good, when they're in the zone and they're pounding the zone and they can throw multiple pitches in the zone, it makes it really hard to eliminate pitches and to eliminate spots in the zone. And when I can't do that and he's got that good of shit, it's really hard to square him up. But when I can, I don't care if you're throwing a Mach 12. I'm hitting that shit.
Correct.
And that's what happens today.
Yeah, correct. It's that was electric. Look,
and people don't understand too. Like, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to happen to the tone of like 12 hits and 10 runs off of dudes like that. It probably won't happen to the tune of that off of guys like that. But you get him for 4 to 5 or 3 to 4, you got him.
Yeah,
and they know it.
Yeah, and look, they took advantage when they took him out. They took full advantage of that. I think he had given up 3 or 4 before they took him out, but the bases loaded. He came out with the bases loaded, so he had those 3 guys
No, he came out. He went 2-0 to Davalon again, who had hit the homer off of him. And then when he went 2-0 against him, they just decided, because he threw that second pitch to the backstop. So at that point, they just decided to put Davalon in. They brought a righty in who threw 5 pitches, and the last one was a wild pitch, and they pulled him. And then the next righty came in and gave up the grand slam.
Right, but there was guys on base when he left, right? The bases weren't empty.
Yeah, but it wasn't bases loaded when he left. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like he came out that inning and ended up getting to like that bases loaded situation with the walk too, I think.
Yeah, I think there's maybe second and third, walk the guy to make the base loaded, then the wild pitch. But regardless, he gave up 4 and then he cashed in the other 2. I think it was 6 earned is what he gave up at the end of the day.
Yeah, his runs got cashed in. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look. He's gonna get drafted. He's gonna do whatever. But that series of electric. The Saturday game this weekend is gonna be extremely electric too. LSU Arkansas always play good games, especially with those 2 guys on the mound. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna be there, Lloyd.
I'm gonna be in that number.
You're gonna be in the number. I will not be in the number. I'll be watching on TV.
Sleeping on the bus.
You'll be sleeping on the bus. On the ground.
I'm on the ground.
Probably.
Driving.
You ain't driving.
No.
I know they ain't letting you drive.
Oh.
That's for sure.
No.
If I'm driving, something went terribly wrong.
I hope they don't let you drive.
Don't tell Robert.
I hope they don't let you drive.
They're getting lessons right now.
Are they?
They better not let you drive.
So none of those guys have driven the bus before?
They have, but they've never done the whole like protocol of like stop.
So they're actually getting their license now?
Yes.
Like, do you need a specific license to drive
Let's
that?
just say they are.
Okay.
They're getting the Robert license.
Okay. In the parking lot?
Uh-huh.
Wait, you need a CDL?
CDL.
Commercial
driver's license. I have one.
I don't think you need a commercial driver's license to drive that.
I don't know. I think if you have 2 feet that work and a brain, that's why I can't drive it.
That's a good point. They came out at the time. 6 p.m. Central.
Saturday.
What you about to say?
Uh-huh.
6 p.m. LSU, Arkansas.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all knew it was going to be on Saturday.
Sidebar, I don't know if y'all saw this either. I thought this was kind of cool, even though it's an Arkansas thing. I thought it was cool because it shows you how hard it is to get there. Did y'all see Van Horn crying on the podium?
Yeah.
After the game?
Yeah. It means a lot.
It felt like he was literally sitting there and realized like how close he was the last time he was there, and how much he hasn't gotten back like to that opportunity again yet. It's like, man, this shit ain't easy to get to, man. Like we had some good teams.
Bro, that's what I try
to
tell everybody.
That's why I like the matchup that we got Saturday night. It's gonna be a good ball game.
20 times in 40 years, 20 times in 39 years.
LSU
has been to Omaha.
Yep.
Don't take it for granted though.
No, it's not easy to get there.
Fuck.
Since 1986, since Skip got there, it has been 20 times they've been there. That is very hard to do.
And how many times have we won it?
7.
You flip it on the other side, I think Arkansas has been there 12 or 13 times, not once.
Right.
You take Florida State like 25 times, or maybe even more than that, not once.
Right. It's wild. Wild. Hard to do.
That's why you take.
Glad they're there.
That's why you celebrate this one. Like you deserve. Like if you're Van Horn, if you're Jay, like this is a definite moment where you're like, I can take a step back and relax and be like, okay, a mission accomplished. For one, like just to get to Omaha is a huge bookend.
Yeah.
And then it's the next job.
Whether it's at home or on the road, obviously it's probably a little more special to be able to do it at home. But like getting to the point of the season where you're in that game that you either get your ticket punched to go to Omaha or you're going home and you obviously get it done, man, that's
special.
That shit is so hard to do, man. Like it's crazy how hard it is to get to that spot, and like being able to kind of realize that, even though it's not the ultimate goal, but realize it and being able to be like, all right, man, like we have a chance to dance, right? Like that's really what you're trying to do every year. Got a chance to do it.
How about Pac-12? Old Pac-12 has 3 of the 8 teams in there. No more Pac-12 though. Tough luck.
Pac-2.
Pac-2. Well, actually, independent.
Independent ball.
Independent ball. Oregon State.
So that is true.
Crazy.
RPI.
Yeah. Road games.
No conference games.
Yeah. Lloyd.
Yeah.
I was telling you a story.
Uh-huh.
No, this is not a mistake of the day, but Jared, I got to tell you this story. So, I like to say that I was a part of. I did not have any type of interaction with this man.
A witness.
But I was a witness, and he was like 2 feet from me, and I was waiting for this guy to do something stupid and just get crushed, but did not. I'd like to say that I was part of the rally. That LSU was 6-4 in the bottom of the 6th, and LSU scored 6 in the top of the 7th. But in the midst of all this, they had this West Virginia fan that was in the section next to me, walked all the way down, walked all the way left to like the railing in the front of the section, like 214 or 215. And he was yelling at the West Virginia dugout, I guess trying to get them riled up and fired up. But he was in front of LSU fans. And he was drunk, and he was talking shit, and he was doing whatever. And so the LSU fans, the guy gets up, and he's like, hey, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, move. So then this guy starts running his mouth to the lady that was sitting next to this guy. And so it started getting a little heated. And this guy was so drunk with the beer, he was walking up. So everybody starts booing him, right? Jared, this man is walking up the stairs, and he's trying to hush the crowd, but he was hushing like this. Like he was trying to suck.
Wait, what did he do?
He wasn't even.
Wait, it's frozen. I can't see it.
Yeah. So he was walking all the way up the stairs, and I'm standing up, and I'm just sitting like this. I'm watching. I'm kind of laughing, and he stops right next to me, and I'm like, oh no, like, just don't say anything to me. Like I just don't want to do anything. Like, please don't. And so people are starting to talk shit to him, and he keeps turning around, thinking, oh, this guy's about to throw hands, and he's about to get hammered. Well, then the usher comes down. She's like, where are your seats? I paid for these seats. I spent money. I deserve to be here. She goes, sir, you're in the wrong section. Your section's over there.
Outer space.
So then he walks over there, and Mongo brings the cop up there, and the cop comes to him. He goes, are you really going to kick me out? Cop goes, yeah. He goes, he just puts his hands behind his back and then walks out. It was a wild secrets. And then the next inning, 6 runs, rally.
Am I going to get in trouble?
Because this guy was in a bad spot, but the way he shushed
where do you think he tailgated at?
The way he shushed the crowd was was not good. It was not good. I was part of it though.
Well, am I getting arrested? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, take me away. Go ahead.
I'm used to this one. I'm not resisting.
I was hoping you could find that. I hoping it was the same guy.
I know.
From the
I wish
regional,
I could, but that was 2 weeks ago. But
yeah.
That guy also got a good place to sleep. Like maybe he just needed to go bed
Drunk
for the
tank.
night.
Yeah.
Bed for the night.
Maybe so.
It's free.
Maybe so. That was definitely a mistake of the day. I know you got a better mistake of the day. Let me hear it.
Not a dissimilar story, as there was one.
This is wild.
Tennessee fan. Oh, spoiler. That got in a kerfuffle
in football season.
Against Arkansas. Got himself arrested and beaten up. Here is football season. Fast forward to Arkansas. Tennessee again.
Baseball season.
During baseball season, finds himself once again getting the shit kicked out of him.
Same shirt.
Same shirt, same person, same team.
Tough situation from that guy.
You don't know how I got these scars?
That's a tough situation. 0 for 2.
And I'll do it again.
Yeah, not great.
Just get my ass beat.
Just sore loser. That's a tough deal. That's a tough deal right there. Yeah, that's a good mistake of the day. Curtain call. You got one? And like I'm trying to think, I was like, maybe it's not the same guy, but I'm looking at it. He looks like he's a little heftier in the winter. He looked like he lost some weight.
Yeah,
definitely the same guy, right?
Same guy.
And you sure that's from the baseball game?
Yeah, it says Woo Damn Pig from Arkansas Hogs.
Okay. Tough luck.
Allegedly.
All right. Curtain call.
Curtain call. 2. I think everybody saw this man put his hand up and absolutely palm a baseball in the stands. And when it happened, we were on the live stream. I was like, that man didn't feel a thing. Those look like the most calloused hands. That man doesn't work behind a computer. That man works for a living. And only Jacques Doucet would be the one to go find him. And here's his interview after the game, and he's exactly who you think he is. Unbelievable. Great catch. Just the epitome of LSU baseball.
Great catch, better interview.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, well, tell me about catching that ball yesterday. Well, we're sitting there. It's a hot day, and we've been drinking and having a good time and hydrating as well. And when the ball came flying at us, it looked like it was a soft one. And I said, hey, I might be able to catch this. And I just put my hand up and caught it. But in that moment, when I caught it, all these emotions came back from the 2016 Coastal Carolina Super Regional when I let the guy next to me in C2 get hit by a home run. It's on ESPN2. You can find it, and I'm embarrassed about it. But so that look of victory was vindication, and I was just emotional and proud of us, and I was fired up because we needed to win the game when we were struggling to hit. So I was caught up in emotion. It was a big day.
Awesome. All right, right up here.
What a great
interview. Tell me about how your life has changed in the last 24 hours with all the social media fun.
It is funny. I have a bronze statue that matches my body type, but they made my head really small. I'm proud of that. I've never been called fat by so many people on social media. I feel sorry for real celebrities. But I have about 200 new friends on social media. And I got here tonight and said, I don't want to be on TV anymore. I want to sit in my seat and win the game. But I did. I'm repping LSU rugby. I wanted to at least, I wasn't always a fat guy. I was an athlete too one time. I just want to win.
And the ball eventually made it to Derek Curio.
Yes, it did. It got to Derek Curio. It was a friend of his dad's. And from what I understand, by the time I got home last night, I read on Twitter that Curio's dad had got the ball. And I was happy to hear. I didn't want any memorabilia. I gave it away right away.
What an interview.
Awesome. Great interview. Great interview.
Never been called fat so many times.
Great interview. Oh man, it's hard to catch it. It's hard to barehand those things.
I've been drinking. I've been hydrating.
This looks like a soft one, like a homer. It's a home run.
Like a soft one.
It's a home run. It's not like they just foul tipped it to you. Speaking of foul tip, how great was Bear Jones just catching?
Yo, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, smooth. Yeah,
give it back. Here you go. Don't
Nice.
need it.
Jay, you got one? You got a curtain call?
Yeah, I mean, I got two. I don't know if you ever used one of these, but it was kind of cool. I don't have it right now, Lloyd. I guess you could go back. I think LSU baseball posted this. It was like a dugout view, like from the side of the dugout of the last out made, and you could kind of like hear the roar and then like see all of the players like come out at the same time. That shit's loud, man. Like that was cool,
Yeah.
and I loved the student section singing Country Roads.
Yeah.
Incredible. So like those two things were cool because that's why the place is known as the greatest college baseball program and place to play on the planet.
Yeah.
So my curtain call is to that crowd. They showed up and to kind of stay with and bear with the delays. Not even that one, Lloyd. It's one that's literally down by the end of the dugout. I think I sent it to y'all in a group text this morning, but like it's one that's the camera's in the dugout. So like whoever it is that's their social media person is in the dugout.
It was wild. If you were watching the dugout the last inning, everybody was on the railing, and they were getting they were pumping the crowd up for Pearson whenever he got it was awesome to see their reaction to Pearson get his at bat because they were like into it. They were on the railing and they were trying to get everybody
standing
hyped.
up on the bench.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's a team.
It was awesome. Yeah, it's special to watch.
This is the one. Bro, that's loud, bro.
Yeah, it's loud. Also, curtain call to the no dog pot. I love that. Nah, we'll dog pot when we win the whole thing.
Yeah, save it.
Yeah, I like that.
Chase Shores is a monster, by the way. When
And
you see him,
that's also probably part of it. Like, hey, it's going to be hard to get this motherfucker down.
all these guys are getting drafted.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. That was awesome. I mean, part of my curtain call obviously was to the crowd and how special the crowd was. Obviously here. I guess I'll give another curtain call to Grant Taylor. You know, getting his call up. I mean, he's in Double A. Got called up from Double A. He's been lights out. You know, obviously he's getting the opportunity. The talent is there. It's great to see him kind of get to where everybody thought he was going to get, even though he didn't get to play his last year at LSU. And
I wish we could have seen him throw at LSU.
Me too. And then my third curtain call to all the LSU fans that are heading up to Omaha. I'm jealous of you this weekend. I'm not going to be able to be there. I'm hoping to make it to the finals. I'm going to try to make it there. But
I guess I'll turn around and go back.
I guess you will. Just stay there the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to be a great time. Obviously, Omaha is pretty pumped that LSU's back. You know,
Yeah, curtain call to Omaha, and they're doing a curtain call to LSU.
Make a lot more money.
Yeah, they get a vacation home now.
No doubt.
Mike, if we go back, we got to see if we can find that one cop that did us a favor.
Hey, I would love. I wish I had gotten his name. Say, hey, bud,
give me your badge number.
We're actually landing at this time. Why don't you just give us a police escort all the way to Omaha? That'd be great. That'd be great.
And curtain call to Mikie. He carries a Sharpie around Alec Box now.
I do not.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. That's not the case. That's not the case. I was given a Sharpie, and then I was asked to sign something, and I just so happened to have the Sharpie in my pocket right after the person had given it to me. And it just looked like I was...
So you brought a Sharpie and you had one in your pocket? Damn!
Yeah!
Didn't bring one.
Hey, you big time.
Didn't bring one. I was ready, though. I was ready.
Oh, man. He did this at the tailgate. I go, this man brings a Sharpie everywhere, huh? And he's like, nope, no. I was like, it's already happening.
Hey, he had it clipped on like the outside of his pocket so you could see it hanging from his pants, too.
He had the dual.
He put it in the pocket.
He had the dual one. He had the fat side and the thin.
Yeah.
What you need? I could go ball, I could go shirt.
Yeah. Whatever you want. You got the baseball or you got a shirt I need to sign? What do you want?
This whole hat for me.
That's great. That's incredible.
Oh,
good for you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Does that mean he got caught skipping the line?
That's why I got the Sharpie. Because they made a mistake on my tickets. I had to go fix it at the ticket office, and I went there, and the guy in the ticket office asked me to get an autograph, and the ticket guy gave me the Sharpie to sign, and he goes, "You can just keep the Sharpie." I said, "All right." And then I went back to the tailgate.
The first one or the second one he gave you?
He gave me both. He gave me both.
He said, "I bet you do this a lot, so I might as well give you two."
He may run out of ink.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, man, good for you.
That's all we got for you on this beautiful Monday. Congratulations to LSU Omaha run. Can't wait to watch them. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish, previewing the game. We will not be live on Friday. I thought we were going to have a show on Friday, but Lloyd is going to be en route to Omaha. So we will not have a show on Friday. We will be recapping, or we'll be previewing the series on Wednesday. Obviously, ask Mikey and Mitch. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't watch us, but you like listening to us anywhere you get your pods, we're back again live on Wednesday. I guess they didn't like the show, Jay.
Damn.
Do it again.
Do it again. Got to move your thumbs up higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little delayed. Just a little delayed. Hey, get some sleep tonight.
Same.
You need it.
I will.
You need
I'm going to get some sleep.
All right. See y'all on Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.